We've returned, everyone. Hello.
That's true. We're here. And we're going to look at some stuff from Reddit. We have a couple of things on the docket for tonight. We had maybe 3 things on the docket, but we took a bit going in. So we're looking at first here. Jeremy had this cool idea at looking at similar concepts and seeing how people, different designers execute kind of similar ideas. And all of these were thought of as different kind of higher things that people put in as different kind of higher level mounts and beast companions that players could potentially gain in game. So we're going to look at a few of these monsters that are beasts that are intended to be kind of player companions.
Yeah. Let's start with this one. This one looks like it could also be just like a regular monster you could fight, the Ghorino.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that this person who this is created, by the way, by HumperdinkTheWarlock on Reddit, HumpSwears on Patreon and Instagram, and I really like that their kind of style, their custom style for the stat block and everything. It's always nice to see that stuff.
The little swoops on the end of the stat block.
Yeah, it's just nice.
Yeah, it is cool. But this is the Ghorino, which is kind of a gorilla rhino hybrid that this person put together, which is the description's short, so I'll read it here. Territorial like a rhino, but with the arboreal agility of a gorilla or ability of a gorilla to extend this territory to the canopy above. The Ghorino is a formidable jungle dweller. And then look up. Though locals frequently trick tourists to Undar into thinking drop bears are a real danger, this teasing has had life-saving results. Many a seasoned explorer has perished in the jungles of late simply because they forgot to look up. Some of this plays on, obviously, to their own world, but I think that's actually, despite it being obviously world-specific, that it does a good job of just like these are ambush predators, you know?
Yeah, but even like in any setting, that's fine.
Yeah, I think it's also pretty adjustable. You just change Undara to the name of your jungle.
Yeah, pretty much.
And malleable mounts, once tamed, if you can tame them. The Ghorino's size and climbing ability makes them a sure-footed mount. Perhaps this is the reason for their creation, for they're surely not a natural offspring.
The very cool art here by Dean Spencer.
The art does, in a lot of ways, for monsters, I feel like art can often tell you more about the monster than a stat block or a text can do. And they, it was a weird hiccups cough. And this art is no exception. And what it does, it doesn't have anything all that crazy, but it's just a challenge rating 4. It's a very powerful mount. It makes 2 attacks, one with its horn and then one with either a fist or a thrown rock. Both of them are pretty powerful. It has this trampling charge where it can run and use kind of like a rhino-like feature. Athletics proficiency, which is kind of a callback to the giant ape. So it's combining some of the aspects of classical monkey monsters and the rhino.
Yeah. Indeed. One of the things I really like about this, and it's something that Grogan in chat is saying right now, look, something out of Impossible Creatures. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with just taking any 2 monsters and sticking them together, and then you've got an awesome new, like Owlbear, right? That's one of the most iconic monsters in Dungeons & Dragons, comes from just that very core concept. Avatar: The Last Airbender is... that's all they do. All of the monsters are just 2 creatures that are smashed together. And I think that's a really fun way to create a unique monster that your players will, upon like having it described to them and you telling them what it's called, they'll be like, oh, I understand some of the things this might do. And they'll also be like, oh my God, right? It's a really cool way to have that familiarity without the mechanics. But except just the bear. Yeah, exactly. In Avatar.
The fact that all of them are that allowed them to make that joke. It's almost the exception that makes the rule on that one, which it's a very good joke.
Yeah, I mean, as a mount, I mean, this thing's very cool. I mean, it's very, very strong. 90 hit points, a lot of hit points. But I don't know. I could see this being a very, very cool creature to have in your game. Celtic Lady was saying, where do you put the saddle? Look, he carries you in his big, beefy arms.
He just cradles you, cradles you to his Ghorino bosom.
Exactly.
That's a pretty funny one. But that's the Ghorino. So that's the first one that we're going to look at. And actually, Jeremy, can we go to the third one next?
Yeah, that's the Skirja.
Yeah, right? The Skirja. And this is a maybe a little bit more reasonable one. This is a kind of a slightly lower CR. But it's interesting because it almost felt like the last one we're going to look at combines these two things into one mega creature, which I thought was interesting. But this is the Skirja. I don't know if we want to read the whole flavor text of it, but it's cool. The art is obviously, again, very cute. I would like to be friends with this big cow.
One of the things I just want to point out, and this is something for anyone who creates their own homebrew to consider, really awesome little description at the very beginning, right? A little story. In the dark, a crying elven woman falls unconscious in the snow. The winds are howling. The frost is cold enough to shatter bones. Death is on the move tonight. Right? Just that, like, beginning paragraph that, like, ties into this specific scene, right? The Skirja comforting this person and saving them is, like, nice. You know, it gives a lot of cool context to the kind of creature this is going to be, just in this little story of the creature doing a thing. So if I know it's not necessarily convention in the in like the monster manual to do that, but in your homebrew creatures, I think it's a really awesome addition because it just gives so much inspiration to a DM to use it.
I could not agree more. Cute until it turns into a tauntaun situation. No, this thing's too cute for that, Frosty Pirate. The appearance, they describe the appearance of it, docile companions till death do us part. This I really like. I like that they put that flavor in too. Skirjas bind to a single companion for a lifetime. It is a well-known fact that if one loses their partner, they will fall into a deep depression, stop eating and drinking until they pass away too. It's very sad. I think that's based on the sugar glider, a real life animal in a lot of ways. That's extremely cute as well. I recommend looking at pictures of sugar gliders on the internet for extended periods of time if you can.
They'll just make you happier.
Yep, that's true. But I like that as having beasts that, like, this beast is inherently loyal and inherently a great companion. I think is a cool direction. Like, I don't know how you feel about Jeremy, but I really like the idea of having a unique beast as, like, for example, if I'm going to be a Beastmaster hunter, I would like it to be something that's a fantasy animal and not a wolf.
I'm very much the same. I know different people have different fantasies and different feelings of what's cool to them and what's not, but I love this. And again, it's just a big cow thing, but it's a little different, right? It's just a slightly different cow thing, and I love that. That makes me, I don't know, that does it for me.
And last, this can speak Sylvan.
Yeah,
and it has 10 feet of telepathy. I love the idea also of a companion, animal companion that you can just talk to, just have a conversation with. There's actually, it's like such a big fantasy trope, but I feel like it's not actually done that often.
Yeah, it's true. I know the winter wolf can speak, but that's a monstrosity. But
those guys are usually pretty spooky too.
And yeah, V-Bunny, I see you're saying your party member died and everyone else alive, and the Skirja is still alive, but rather than hang out with the party allowed to ride it, decides not to eat and die. Even the player who made a character doesn't get to use it. Feels bad, man. Yeah, there's a reason that's on the flavor text
it's
here,
not a
not
mechanic.
Stat block. It's just a little added context for the creature, right? Like, I don't know, that I think you're missing the point.
Yeah,
like totally missing the point.
It's not. That's not like
a
designed.
Loyal companion. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this very much. It's just a very cute creature. The actual stats of it are really straightforward. I love that they gave it a skill, athletics, to represent it being like a pack animal creature. I think that's a really cool just thing to put on a monster, because most creatures don't have any skills, or if they do, it's like just stealth or something, or maybe dragon as perception. But yeah, it's otherwise very bread and butter, very vanilla. It's in the lore that this makes it so cool. And this is by user Depressed Monkey 3 on Reddit, and the art is by Katie Hargrove. And there is a link to their ArtStation, artstation.com/Katie, Katy. So very neat.
Our last one here is going to combine these two into one ultimate monster, I would say, in a lot of ways.
God.
And that is the Buffle Wump. You see what I mean, just off the bat? Yeah, he's a big boy. This one was very popular on Reddit recently, and the one that I kind of was most excited to talk about. User AnExtremelyLargeDog created the Buffle Wump. A very big dog made this. It's a funny name.
And this artwork is by Kekai Kotaki.
Excellent. That's the Buffle Wump, and it is designed, and again, a lot of these people kind of wrote in their descriptions on Reddit, like, these are meant to be big animal companions, and this kind of actually is written directly in the Buffle Wump's lore. Thunderous hoofprints rumble and reverberate through the forest floor. Uneven tracks are left behind. Deep and uneven hooves and knuckles. An experienced hunter might know to depart swiftly. The Buffle Wump is a sweet-natured creature, but for it to let its presence be known so easily could only mean it has cubs to protect. This creature's protective instinct is best not tested. That's a thing that they kind of double down on in here, is they're very protective, they're friendly, and stalwart companions is the final one here. Kind of did a similar thing that we saw the Skirja do. So these two people kind of had the same general idea. Buffle Wumps do not often form social groups outside of their immediate family, particularly not with humanoids. When they do, they are highly protective and capable defenders. A Buffle Wump will readily give its life to save that of its chosen companion.
And again, we have that really nice little kind of quote off the side here by Huntsmaster Larimar. Who knows who Huntsmaster Larimar is, but I gotta say it's big and it's strong, to be sure, but it's no beast of burden. The fierce intelligence behind those black eyes, and is smart enough to use basic tools. Given the size, strength, and cleverness and loyalty of the beast, they're highly prized companions to the capable. Few are capable. Excellent little note for that. CR10, holy shit.
Yeah, Frosty Pirate, CR10 companion. Yeah, this is intended to be a very late game. You get the Buffle Wump last. I think would be the idea to use this creature. But I like that a lot. Like, I like the idea of the lore of the Buffle Wump. Like, oh, only the most powerful heroes can tame the Buffle Wump. Like,
a problem I've seen happen many times in my experience playing Dungeons and Dragons is the Dungeon Master has all these NPCs, and the NPCs end up becoming part of the party, and it just becomes, oh my gosh, it becomes very long, right? Very tedious, and some of the players can get frustrated at NPCs being part of the party. No one is ever going to be sad about having a pet that's really cool, right? Like, if you're the kind of player who likes having a DNPC so that you can, like, help out a little bit, like, oh, hey, maybe, like, this is the thing you need to start doing. Use a monster like this, right? Use, like, a creature, because it just yeah, I feel like it never ends up being a problem. Like, players love having beast companions. But speaking of this companion, what do you think about this guy, Pete? This guy's weird. He's proficient in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they gave him...
more than I would have thought.
Athletics. Nature seems the strangest one, because he doesn't get a language.
Yeah.
But he has perception, stealth, and survival. I'm actually into all four of those skills, because they talk about very much how intelligent it is, and that he uses tools and, like, thinks. Also has this limited telepathy. Like I said, it's kind of a combination. It's got the same, like, animal back legs and gorilla front legs of the other one, but, like, the telepathy and the kind of cute. It's like, it's not quite cute.
Got a very cute face.
But it's kind of cute, you know?
Oh yeah, I would say it's definitely cute.
And it also has this telepathy, magically communicates simple ideas, emotions, and images telepathically with any creature within 30 feet of it. I like that a lot more, actually, than the direct, it can just talk telepathy.
I like that more, too, yeah. Much more interesting kind of character or creature.
interesting stories I could imagine could be told with that too. I also like that it's neutral good.
Yeah, it's weird that the Skirja wasn't.
Probably an oversight because they seem very much inherently good, but
yeah, I mean every other beast I think is unaligned for the most part, so that maybe is why.
And then it's got attacks. The attacks don't really matter. It can do a bunch of damage.
Yeah, whatever. It's got a bunch of attacks. I mean, these aren't things you're going to add to your game for balance purposes. This isn't like, let me give my level 10 Beastmaster Ranger a Buffle Wump. That's not what these are for. These are just fun things to add into your games to, like, increase the, I wouldn't say immersion, but, like, just increase the fun. Have more interaction.
Animal companions, anytime you give your party an animal to love, they will love it. They will love said animal.
Every time.
It's a postulate of Dungeons and Dragons. Jeremy, have you ever seen a counterexample? We've seen a bad animal companion where people are like, get this adorable talking ox out of here.
Yeah, actually. I think so. I have this vague recollection. Man, I remember so little about this part of the game. Yeah, it was an ox, but it wasn't like a talking ox. And it was, God, I forget. I think it was from like a caravan they were protecting, and like they burned down the caravan accidentally and killed everybody except for the ox. And then they were just pissed they had this ox that they were bringing around. They didn't want to just let it go. It was the weirdest situation I've ever been in as a dungeon master. That was a great campaign.
Fair enough. Keltyclad asks, would you allow a creature like this a learned skill, like, say, Flint napping? Yeah, absolutely. Like, this is just, like, whatever you want to do with it. They've said its intelligence, the ability to, like, learn how to, like, whittle some simple tools for themselves. They got the big opposable thumbs. Yeah, whatever is fun for your story on this guy.
Even beside that, I actually love that concept, Celtic Lady. I love the idea that, like, if you were going to use a creature like this in your game, right? Let's say the players are traversing a jungle, and this creature is like in its cave or something, protecting its young, and like a dragon's attacking the cave, and the players go and like fight the dragon, and that's the bonding moment where the Bufflewump goes, oh, these people are helping protect my babies, right? And let's say like the young Bufflewump dies, or maybe the mother Bufflewump dies and the young one is what joins the party, or something like that, right? I love the idea, right, that like the Bufflewump like starts like Flint napping little things, like giving little gifts to the players. I think that's being very cute. It's like, it Flint naps you. It looks like a stone fish. I don't know what this means, but the Bufflelump's limited telepathy is telling me he's very proud. Like, it's like a little kid with the macaroni art. You can take it in that kind of. I mean, there's a lot of very cute, fun directions.
I can see a lot of cool stuff.
I love that.
The Bufflewump traveling with the party, and like, especially if one of the players is into Flint napping, just like starting to like sit down next to him and just like starting out imitating them and then eventually making stuff. Like, there's a lot of cool stories you could tell like that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, if a player is into something, that would be even cooler. I mean, that would be even a better way of tying it in. I completely agree, Pete.
That animal companion Jar Jar. Jar Jar counts as a humanoid. Don't you sell Jar Jar shirt like that? Everyone always coming out Star Wars Episode 1.
But yeah, overall, 3 really cool little beast companion options for a party. I think like of them, the Skirja and the Bufflewump are definitely the most interesting to me. Ghorino like works, but I think this was meant more of like literally like a mount for like a paladin or something. Not a friendly beast buddy.
Yeah, not quite as cool as the others, but definitely in the same kind of the higher CR mount too. Because there aren't a lot of cool mount options without starting to get into non-conventional, like just my mount is a wyvern, that kind of thing.
I actually want to bring something up before we move on from these, because Celtic Lady again was saying in chat, this might be a way to level up a companion creature too. Yeah, right. Like, I really, especially when you have these like hybrid creatures, like this is a gorilla thing mixed with a bull, right? That's what this is. This Buffle Wump, or it's a buffalo and whatever a wump is. I don't know. Gorilla thing. You could start with just a stat block of like an ape, right? And then, right, and that's like the baby Buffle Wump. And you could describe the Buffle Wump, but just, for stats, just use the ape stats, because that's an easy stat block, right? And over time, you can start to like give it some of these abilities. So maybe like it's as a baby, it's the ape stat block with the limited telepathy. And then it also gains, right, some horn attack, or like a charge attack or something as you go. But just kind of slowly pick and sort over features would be a neat way to do that.
Frosty Pirate, the Ghorino is lacking that je ne sais quoi. The other ones have the it factor. Yeah, 100% agree.
Yep.
But
they're still all pretty cool.
Jeremy, we're getting close to the end, but you down to try and go through this Trailblazer too?